Hello, beautiful kindred souls, and welcome to my crafting corner. Today, I am going to be working on our Halloween mini lap book. Okay, so we're going to be making a mini lap book that is like a traditional Halloween themed lap book, utilizing the digital papers that I have pulled together for this season. I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite times of the year. It's at a moment in the natural environment in the place that I live where the trees are changing colors. You have beautiful oranges, yellows, and reds. It's a time where the weather is shifting and changing, a time of change and transformation as we move from the hotter summer months into the cold winter months. And so I don't know, I just love this time of year, and I just love Halloween with the oohs and the ghouls and the creepy crawly things. And I don't know, it's just like a time that's so magical to me, and I have really fond childhood memories also of Halloween and trick-or-treating and stuff like that. And I don't know, it just makes me smile, brings me joy. So I'm going to be pulling together a lap book project this month. It's going to be a mini lap book, and in today's video we are going to be putting together the shell. So that's basically what I call the outside of the lap book. So we're going to be pulling together something like this, except we are going to be making or using the papers that I have painted. So I've painted, as you can see, this black sheet, which is going to go on the inside of our journal. And then the outside is going to be this beautiful burnt orange color. So we're going to have, again, traditional Halloween, those traditional Halloween colors, black and orange. And the black is going to set really nicely in contrast to the digitals that I'll be using for this project. So today, or I should say, we're going to start off with our black piece. And I already sort of pulled together the components that we're going to need. So I have the panel components that we're going to use all cut out here to size. I'm going to turn this sheet over. As you can see, I'm recycle, reusing, and renewing, using an old paper bag from groceries to pull this project together. So if you're wondering and you want to do this on your own, again, it doesn't have to be Halloween, whatever you want to do, but I basically just gesso and paint with acrylic paints a brown paper bag. So I basically open it up the opposite way that it was put together. So starting from the bottom, open it completely out, and then put a layer of gesso on it, and then put whatever color palette you want to use. Obviously for this one I use black. And then, once it dries, then you've got the base for your project. All right, hopefully I keep everything on screen here. So we're going to mount these components down. So the order, this is the order that we're gonna need to do this in, right? Again, this is our little template. So this is the order we're gonna mount it down. And it doesn't really matter the like upside down, not upside down, as long as the pieces are in the order that they need to be in. The largest panel, which is this one, I think. Let me just check. Yeah. Dimensions, I wasn't really planning to do this, but it's about 4.5 inches wide, 4.5 by 6.25 tall, 6.25 tall by whatever I said before, 4 inches wide. So that's the biggest panel, and you just take an eighth inch off for the smaller panels. You can take a little bit more off if you want more staggering. So this is like the primary spine, this is the return spine, a little one, and this is what it will look like when it's folded up. So this will be your cover, and then it'll open up in that way. So this is going to be a 3-panel, 3 signature. So there'll be 2 signatures in the primary spine, and then 1 signature in the return spine here. Okay. All right, now I'm just gonna mount these down. So when I do this, I'm using recycled materials again. So this used to be a sparkling water, like sparkling water can box. So I'm gonna mount it down so that the colored part is against the paper bag. And I've just found that that works the best. Now, since I'm gonna be closing the edges in around this piece, I am not gonna use any, I'm just gonna use glue stick. And when I mount it down, I just wanna make sure that I leave about a quarter of an inch or half of an inch or so around the edges, because that's what you're gonna fold over. Well, I mean, you just wanna leave that around the whole thing. Just gonna try to smooth this out as best I can. Then we've got the big spine next. And you wanna leave about 1/8 of an inch or so between. Something like that. 1/8 of an inch, 3/16 of an inch, so that it can crease, so that that can fold without buckling. And then the next piece is going to be, again, the biggest panel. Okay. And again, you want to make sure you're leaving that gap between so that it can bend there for the hinge. All right. And then we're going to do our little spine next. Just trying to align it as best we can. Okay. Ooh. And then down. And then our last panel, the return panel, is the last piece. Alrighty. Did I put that out far enough? It doesn't really matter because we've got the return, or we're gonna fold it back, so it's okay. All right. Next step is to cut out. Again, you want to leave your 1/2 of an inch around, about 1/2 of an inch around. I'm going to park this piece off to the side so that I can focus on working with what's left over. And then I'm just going to trim this little nibbly bit off the edge here. Okay. All right, so the next step is going to be to fold these pieces in. You're gonna trim at the edges. I'm leaving, I don't know if you can see that, just like a 1/16 of an inch. I cut angle in, but I'm not gonna cut these off. This is so that you still have bend and stuff like that. It allows it to flex at these points, but you still want to cover. And we're gonna take this corner again. And yeah, things are sticking to my scissors because of course it's still gluey. The glue is still wet. It's okay though, it's all good. And again, we're gonna cut angle in at the hinges, but we're gonna leave these pieces attached yet. And we got one more edge. Don't think I've asked you guys how you're doing, what you're up to, how is the change in season going for you? All right, the next piece, I use glue stick. I hope this is on camera. Hope you can see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna use glue stick. But I'm also gonna use my 3-in-1. You can obviously use whatever adhesives that you have that work for the mediums that you're working with. I'm just gonna be generous with the application of the glue because I want a nice, want it to be adhered nicely, firmly. And I'm actually gonna do this all the way around because the glue is gonna take a minute to like get tacky, and it'll stick better once it's tacky. So I'm just gonna go all the way around. You can always add a little bit more if you need to when you're starting to stick things down too. So, all right. I'm gonna start from the bottom. We're just gonna pull that edge up. And like our nibbly bit that we trim or that we cut in, we're gonna glue that down too. Everything is just gonna get glued down. This is gonna be covered with our orange paper. So the thing that's important that I'm really looking for is to make sure that everything is sort of aligned here at the bottom, along this edge. All the nibbly bits and stuff, they're evened out. Like sometimes you get, some of the panels are a little uneven, and you can use this as an opportunity to make everything uniform. If you have glue that dries quickly, don't do this method. Don't put glue everywhere. Just put glue where you need it. But I know my glue takes a little second to set, and I'm just gonna make sure that this is a little uneven. So I'm just gonna use this moment to sort of make it all make sense together. Like, there's just slight differences. Like, it's not alarming. Just gives that a moment to sort of make it make sense together. And then the last piece. Okay. That's that. All right. Beautiful. All right. In the next phase, we are going to mount it down to our orange paper. So the plan is to get it sort of in this zone right here. So I'm actually going to turn it over because we're going to mount this down. And I've already kind of scoped it out so I know that it'll fit. But once I apply my glue, I'm going to glue it in this zone right here. Should work. Okay. All right, so I am going to use my glue stick in the middle. In the middle. and at the hinges, try to like get it down into that little hinge. Very generous, as you can see. Not worry about getting this perfect because I'm gonna add some 3-in-1 over it anyway. Okay, good layer of that, and then our 3-in-1. And we're just gonna go all the way around, trying to get the edges really good though, because it likes to lift at the edges. All in the middle. You can smooth out the bumps if you want to. Since I'm mounting on brown paper bag, it's already thicker, you know, like a thicker material. So it won't seep or anything. But just be mindful of the materials that you're using. And usually just try to smooth out those lumpy bumps. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more up here. Looked a little thin, okay? Okay, we wanna get a good adhesion, of course. As best we can get, okay? All right, hopefully we can see what we're doing here. And that's that. Oh, shoot. That was my sus hand. Of course, putting something heavy over this will help it get a good adhesion. Okay, so I'm gonna put my heavy things. I got random heavy things just close at hand because I do this sort of stuff. It's nice to have these. Yes, I do have a million candles, as you can see. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're still good on time. So that didn't take too long. I'm just trying to make sure that the edges are really good. Really letting that set. Okay. Now, if I were not on camera, I would give this more time to set. But since we are on camera, I'm just going to keep moving. I would let it set completely before trying to cut it out. Okay. Do as I say, not as I do. All right. So now we're just going to cut it out. And I just try to get as close as I can. Hold up my camera. Try to get as close as I can to that edge. And it's okay if it lifts up a little bit because you can always add a little bit more glue and remount so that the edges and stuff. So I wouldn't stress out about that. I am trying to get it as close as I can. One more strip. It's almost like turning my scissors a little bit in. It's like I almost want to cut slightly below or behind without cutting something I don't want to cut. You can always ink around anyway, so it's fine. These are good for scrap strips and stuff, so I would not throw those away. All right, and this is what we got. Excuse me. Just sort of smoothing this out a little bit, which you can certainly do before you cut it out. And that's why I use the glue stick, because you can get a pretty solid mount as well. And then the other glue is used just to kind of keep the edges and stuff down. So when you're working with the painted paper bag, it is, you know, when it's painted, it's even heavier. Okay. And then we're just creasing at the hinges. And you put glue in there too, so that should stick, you know, to the other paper too. And that's what we get. So this is our shell piece that we're going to work with for this project. Very cool. Perfect. So thank you so much for joining me today. Please do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you're not already connected, do consider subscribing. Click like on this video, share your thoughts, and I will see you in an upcoming message. Bye.